Okay, hey guys. I've had a few people asking me on my stream recently how I put a PvE build together. Now I'm only really using one build, two builds let's say, but one main build for PvE, and that's a 6-piece striker. But I'm going to show you the build in a little while. I'm going to show you exactly how I put a PvE build together. First I'm just going to run a couple of quick things and just show you quite literally how fast a build like this melts through NPCs. Now be it your named bosses or missions, PvE, legendaries, heroics, whatever you're doing. This build melts them. And it's not down to the fact that it's a 6-piece striker, although obviously a 6-piece striker will do a lot of damage if you use it right. Anyway, if you get your stacks up, it's down to the fact that I build my build with a lot of enemy armor damage and damage to the elites built into it. Now, just to show you quickly a little more of how fast this destroys NPCs, I'm going to run into Amherst's apartment over here. That's why I spawned over here, because you've got the open world boss down the bottom there on the railway tracks. There's another one over there as well, cleaner, just up that street, but I'm going to nip into Amherst's. I'm on world tier 5. I'll set the mission up as hard, and then there'll be a mixture of purples and elites in here, purples and yellows. And you can see just
it looks like the place is on fire.
How fast
investigate the suspect's
it
apartment.
destroys their armor.
Suspect?
And
That's generous.
we'll wipe them out.
Innocent until proven guilty?
Please, I've met the guy.
That's providing I can shoot straight, obviously.
Have a collective psychosis. Better not screw this up.
I mean, there you go, purples in a split second. Now obviously I've got some striker stacks going on there. It's not really about that, it's just about showing you how quickly it melts off the armour off of NPCs. And then also how quickly it will destroy elites.
I'd love to talk to one of these cleaners sometime, partially to find out what makes them tick, and partially to strangle them slowly while he told me.
Now we've got a big guy down there. Check this out. Gone. And bear in mind, that's a level 30... Oh, now they're blowing me up. That's a level 34 NPC. Yellow. It's just purples. Again, normally running Amherst, I'd be doing it for weekly missions. I'd do it in 3.5 minutes at the most on World Tier 1. I thought I'd leave it on World Tier 5 just to show you quite how fast you'll get through NPCs if you build a build the way I do.
Send someone out to round up any survivors.
Well, not just me and a lot of other people.
Clearing a path for them, so just keep going.
And I'm not even doing huge damage. I don't have a large amount of firearms on this build. I think I'm on about 6,000 firearms. I'll tell you in a sec. 6,400 firearms. Now, as soon as I finish running through this mission, it'll only take me a couple more minutes. Oh, wrong floor. I'll show you exactly how the build's put together and what I do when I'm building a PvE build.
Might have been looted, but whoever was in there probably wasn't looking for documents or hard drives.
And if you get lucky and find Amherst there, bring him in so I can ask a few.
We won't get that lucky. We never do.
Well, I can dream.
Now I should have chosen a mission where Perhaps we
I
didn't
hope
have
you
to
found
listen
what
to
we're
Faye
looking
Lau
for.
so
It's
much.
high priority, so I routed an extraction chopper for you. But you'll have to secure the rooftop before it can touch down. Don't play with fire. Get the evidence back here safely. Keep it up, Agent. We need that roof cleared so we can pull the evidence out. Normally, this chopper is just pickups from the dark zone only, pulling out highly contaminated material. For the current op, we'll make an exception.
Lighthouse, this is Bluebird 2, ready to retrieve the package.
As you can see, it's eating through purples. And it eats through elites. Right, if I can ever shoot one.
Lighthouse, this is Bluebird 2. Package acquired and we are returning to base. Bluebird 2 out.
Just as fast. It absolutely destroys either. In fact, you'd probably have more troubles shooting reds than you're going to have shooting elites or
The chopper with the evidence is inbound on HQ. I know we took civilian losses, but there would have been a lot more.
Reds will
if you
probably
hadn't
be
been
a
there.
lot harder
Excellent
to
work,
kill
Agent.
than purples and yellows because of the amount of enemy armor damage and damage to elites. So I'm going to nip into my inventory and just show you what I've got going on. Now, as a backup weapon, I'm using a Navy MP5 with brutal, responsive and unforgiving. Now, that's my choice for my MP5. I'm a headshot guy. I like to have responsive on, some multiplicative talent, and unforgiving. Well, unforgiving, I'm a face tanker when I'm playing, so unforgiving gives me extra damage all the time. Up to 25% extra damage, which you don't get from anything else. Deadly is kind of redundant because at the most you're getting, what, 60% crit hit chance, so that 15% extra crit hit damage you can get from Deadly is actually only equates to 9%. So anybody who tells you Deadly is a god roll talent is lying to you. Deadly is not a god roll talent because your maximum crit hit chance is 60%. And of course that means you're only getting 6 out of 10 of your hits are getting extra damage from Deadly, which means over an average of 100 hits you're basically getting an extra 9% damage from. So anybody who tells you that, don't believe them. Go for something else instead. Competent, responsive, unforgiving in the bottom slot is absolutely perfect because you don't have to pay any stamina costs for unforgiving in the bottom slot. And if, like me, you're a face tanker, you're always losing health, you're going to be gaining 25% worth of damage. But that's not what this build is about. This build is about the LVOAC I'm using. Well, and the armor, obviously. So the LVOAC, my two main talents I have on that are Destructive and Ferocious. Destructive giving me an extra 15% enemy armor damage. and ferocious, giving me an extra 10% damage against elite and named enemies. And of course on top of that you've got your enemy armor damage from your assault rifle. Now my assault rifle here is only 19%, which is quite low. You could have an assault rifle with 24% enemy armor damage. But with 1.8 dropping shortly, I will have the optimization station, so I'll be able to bring this LVOAC up to the maximum. If you haven't seen the optimization station in action at the moment, every time you optimize an item, it brings it up a level. So I'd have to optimize 5 times to bring the enemy armor damage up to max, 24%, which would cost me 250,000 credits each time and 50 division tech. It's an expensive process, but there you go, that's the way it is. This is a looter shooter after all. If it wasn't expensive, it wouldn't be a looter shooter anymore. It would kind of take away the purpose of farming missions and doing what you have to do to maintain your level in the game. Right, so onto the armor. As you can see, I'm using 6-piece striker. Rid of that. Oh, maybe not. It's a Sentry's Call I just picked up. I won't get rid of that after all. Bit of classified gear. Right, so I'm using striker, as you can see at the moment, but I'm using specific attributes on all of my pieces. So this is a PvE build I put together. So for major attributes on my harness, or the chest piece, I have enemy armor damage, 5% enemy armor damage. I've also got exotic damage, resilience and ammo capacity, but that's kind of by the by, it doesn't matter. It's rolled to firearms, but again, that doesn't really matter at the moment. What we're talking about here is the enemy armor damage and damage to... Okay, and then on my mask, 867 armor, it's really low armor, but I don't care. It's just what I had to use. 1284 electronics, give me a bit of a heal and pulse. But again, I have 8% enemy armor damage and 12% damage to elites. So I've got the maximum enemy armor damage and the maximum damage to elites on my mask. Onto my knee pads, 1581 armor, 1397 firearms, but that's irrelevant really. 4% enemy armor damage, maximum enemy armor damage you can get on your knee pads, and 16% the max again damage to elites. So bleed resistance and disrupt resistance. Onto my backpack. Backpack I've got rolled for stamina at the moment, just so that I've got enough toughness to get by. 11,624 skill power, because that's what I happen to have on my backpack. And I re-rolled to ammo capacity for this one. There's no enemy armor damage or damage to elites on it. This is literally just a backpack. Nothing important about that one. Then onto my gloves. On my gloves, 862 crappy armor again, but 1304 firearms, and I have crit hit damage on there, 14%. I've got assault rifle damage rolled to it, and I have enemy armor damage rolled, 8% rolled on that. And then my holster is just classified holster, pretty much maxed out, 1399, 1399, 1393, and 7,159 health. Just to add a little bit to my toughness. And of course health is going to become, stamina particularly, is going to become more important with 1.8 dropping soon, because you're going to get 30 points of toughness for every point of stamina compared to the 15 points of toughness that you get now per point of stamina. Now the other thing you'll notice, I'm running purple mods on this game, and you might be thinking, why is he running purples? Now a lot of players will already know this, but some of you guys won't, and this is why I'm showing you the build. Part of the reason I'm showing you the build. Now these are stamina mods, 192 stamina. But not a great deal. I could be running 267 stamina with, you know, skill haste maybe, or something like that. The point of running these is, the purple ones, you can get them with damage to elites on. Now these ones are the maximum you can get on a purple mod, I believe, 4% damage to elites. So I have 5 of those equipped, and that gives me an extra 20% damage to elites overall. So if I select my main gun, my oOGhostinTheMachineOo with Destructive and Ferocious, which you remember gives you 15% enemy armor and 10% damage to elite and named enemies, but also I've got 19% from the actual assault rifle. Okay, so select that, go over to character, and push right. You can see I'm doing a whopping 58% damage to elites and 74% enemy armor damage. Okay, and that's why I melt through purples and yellows super fast. I use this build to run clear sky in 5.5 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. It's super quick, using a final measure build, 2 healer builds, a lot of skill haste, and yeah, it's super fast. It kills the yellows ridiculously fast, and it's what enables us as a team to run through that mission so incredibly fast. I was farming that in the global event. Obviously we had the extra damage from the, what was it called, assault modifier that was on, which enabled us to do it really quickly, but we can still do it in 5 to 6 minutes, a group of 4 of us, and a lot of it's down to me running this build. And the guys I run with also run PvE builds with damage to elites and enemy armor damage on. Even though they're running healer builds, they still run the same sort of thing. The other talent I like to run on my assault rifle, and this is personal preference, is Determined. I like to run Determined on my assault rifle because it gives me my heal back incredibly quickly. Because I go through enemies so fast, every kill I get brings my skill cooldowns by 7.5%, and quite literally my heal and my pulse are back super fast because I'm killing things so super fast. That also applies to my super, so it doesn't matter if I'm running tac, recovery, or defense super, it brings back my ult super fast. So that's my own personal preference. You might want to run something different, you might want to run something that gives you extra damage or whatever, but I think Determined is one of the most useful things in a PvE build to have on a gun, other than destructive and ferocious. Alright, so there you go. That's a quick synopsis of how I put together one of these builds. Now, if you don't know how to find these purple mods, basically you can either just go searching around all the safe houses, looking for them. They sell any of the gear vendors, any of the safe houses that have gear vendors will sell purple mods, and you can go around just looking for the purple mods, or you can check on one of the websites that offer you vendor updates. There are various websites. If you just put Division vendor update into a Google browser, it'll point you in the direction of a site that will tell you what's for sale. Alternatively, there are apps available on Google Play for Division vendor resets, so just go on to Google Play and type in Division vendors and see what comes up for you. Okay, well, I hope this helps you guys out. I hope you can put together a good PvE build using the basic synopsis. So there's the basic idea of rolling enemy armor damage and damage to elites on everything that you can, and also making sure you've got it on your main weapons, be it sniper rifle, submachine gun, assault rifle, whatever you're using. Stick those on there and you will wreck the enemies super fast. Get through the missions, legendaries, incursions for your exotics super fast. Okay guys, I'm leaving. I'll catch you on the next one. Hope that you enjoyed this. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.